Putter. Shout out Putter.
A lot of OGs
I would
firing
like to
questions up.
hear about how to remove the excuses we convince ourselves are real that keep us from starting the hard part of a journey we know we need to take. Hoping for a world record length podcast. Putter, sorry to disappoint you. This will not be a record length podcast.
We are already at 46 minutes.
Fabulous. Another 14 to go.
Oh. Great question, Putter.
Great question.
Repeat it one more time.
I struggle with this big time. I'd like to hear about how to remove the excuses we convince ourselves are real that keep us from starting the hard part of a journey we know we need to take. Hoping for a world record length podcast.
Okay. I've got kind of an answer. Can I go first?
Yeah, it's your podcast. Take it away.
Excellent. So what that is when you have an idea or want to move forward on something, and then the thought pops up of, hey, don't do that. You can't do that. People are going to think this if you do that. You don't have the money to do that. Whatever the excuse is and alibi, whatever it is that pops up, and the story you're telling yourself is your automatic subconscious program just trying to remain within what is known, right? Because if you have the idea and want to go do something to like make that first step towards trying something new and different and like leading a different life and changing your identity, it is completely unknown. And all of your habits, which make up your subconscious mind, which is you, right? It's you accumulated over time. It's the past you. Want to be living in the past because the past is familiar. So you just have to do it. You just have to do the thing and make the first step. And it's going to be extremely uncomfortable, and you will have to probably fight through that excuse that pops up in your head and just do it. And then you'll have to fight through that excuse that pops up in your head to do the next thing. And then probably the next thing too. And then probably the next thing also. But once you just recognize that, oh, there's no validity to that thought that just popped up in my head. It is just simply my past programming.
Yeah.
And I can change that one day at a time to where that voice gets quieter and quieter and quieter. And then all of a sudden it doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
would you say that I have been a good like test for you on this theory?
Yeah. Yeah. As far as trying to get you to level up?
Well, I'd not even level up, just stopping the, yeah, sure, because that's what you mean when you say level up.
Yeah.
Just stopping the programming of certain like insecurities or concerns that I had about certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Allie's been this has been a slow cook.
I don't think so. It's been a year. A year is really not that long.
Yeah.
Piece of
Where Allie gets hung up is exactly what you just asked. This is where everybody gets hung up for the most part. It's like you're right there ready to do that thing, right there ready to make the change, whatever the heck it is. Mm-hmm. And then you convince yourself out of it and you make up an excuse.
Yeah. Even
if it's like going to the gym. It's crazy the excuses that you'll make up in your head of like, oh, you know, I'm a little tired today, or it's raining outside. I didn't sleep super well last night. You could play that game all day long because you always come up with a different excuse.
I don't make excuses about going to the gym. I want to go to the gym. I'm just in a place right now where my body's extra run down and I'm trying to not make it worse. That's all. And I also recognize certain days like,
yeah, but just like cold plunging, I've never seen you come back from the gym and be like, that was a bad idea.
Well, totally. But over time, those things can have effects on me if I'm not, like going to F45 all those years caused me extreme stress and like adrenal problems. I felt great every day when I'd get home, but then over time it was clearly too much for my body. So that's sort of different.
So there's the two type of people that I see are that type that really struggles to just start because they're so worried about listening to that inner voice of talking them out of it, right? That's probably the most common. And then the second type of person that I would see would be the person that does start, but then aborts mission and shifts focus right away.
Yeah.
They take up this thing, they drop it. They take up this thing, they quit. They take up this thing, they shift to something else completely. And it's like, oh, you got all the right tools to be making something happen here, but it's just that stick with one thing. I mean, don't stick with one thing that you don't like, but let's try to narrow focus a little bit here and be specific and stick with something indefinitely instead of just like starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And I see that a lot.
Yeah.
But at least they're starting. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.